Yo, what's going on? I had a beautiful trading day today and we passed our eval. I'm now funded 50K. Took two really solid trades today. One was a break even and second was a very large winner over 5R. We started this morning up 3% since Friday. Huge rally into a very key, very strong 3 hour supply. So I was looking for people to take profits and for sellers to step in at supply. So I was buy short and we took two shorts. One was an insane entry. I don't think I was in drawdown for a second. I didn't top ticket, but it was beautiful entry right here. Hit break even, and my second short was up here, and I wrote it all the way down. So let's get into the live trade. All right, so here's this first trade. We're coming into VWAP. We're coming into the middle of that initial rally down or the sell-off. I saw a huge buyer on the order flow enter the market, and he was trapped. We sold off right after he entered, so I went short right there, and it was beautiful right away. I don't think I had any drawdown on this trade. This is a very classic continuation move. You know, a short move down, a little pop up, and a continuation lower. Really quickly, we hit a 2-to-1 R, and that's where I went break even. Moved my TP for an invalid supply that we sliced through overnight for one of my targets, or my final target. All right, it was looking super solid here. I think I hit a 3.4 R right there, or right here, sorry. So yeah, we hit a 3.4 R and we ended up putting in a low, which was a higher low at this point. And there was a bunch of trap sellers at the lows, so trade wasn't looking too good anymore. So unfortunately, here that low was pretty validated, and we really were putting in that that higher low. Here was a pretty solid attempt lower, and I thought this trade might end up working out, but we just reclaimed it with the very next candle, putting in another higher low. And yeah, I thought this trade was cooked. So despite getting a 3.4 R and not taking profit, that was just my plan. I planned to see the low of day break, and it didn't happen. So I followed my plan, and it was a really good break even though my entry was top notch. All right, so we had just taken that break even trade a few minutes ago, probably 3 minutes, and I saw us break that high of day right here that we put in for my entry where my previous trade was. We broke the high of day and we saw a move into this area of support. That was my theory that we were flipping it to resistance. Saw a huge trap buyer that I'll show you on the order flow after this trade, and I entered short. I put my stop loss right where that support is, and above that trapped buyer. I just got a little bit of drawdown on this trade, but it started to work out right away, and I was pretty happy. So in hindsight, this trade did end up working, obviously, but at this point, I didn't like it as much as my first trade. That was the first attempt lower. We failed, and this is a second attempt. So first attempt is always the better attempt to trade with, and not only that, we bounced off of VWAP for my first entry, and this one we kind of chopped around VWAP. We even flipped VWAP, so I didn't like this trade as much, and I went break even early before hitting a 2-to-1. We were up probably 1.5 R, and I went break even. Because though my entry was higher up than my first trade, I didn't need my full target to pass this account and reach 53,000. So I was able to raise my TP just a little bit, which, as you guys will see, helped me out. So here we are up over 2-to-1 R. The risk was tight on this trade. It was only $127 right over that trapped buyer and flipped support. So it was a beautiful entry, just like the first trade, and I was going for a 6R. This is a 6R if this TP hits. If somebody's watching and you don't understand what that means, it means I'm aiming to take profit at 6 times the amount of what I'm risking dollar wise or point wise. So I'm risking $127. 6 times 127 is $765, which is where my TP is. Wow, I did not realize how close we were to getting hit break even. We put in another higher low, and it was looking pretty bullish here. like we were gonna continue higher. I mean, we're putting in higher highs and higher lows, but right here is a key moment. We are breaking that higher low, changing the structure, and looking like we are going to continue to the downside at that point if we hold the break of that higher low. So we held it there, we pushed down lower, and the trade was looking really good. All I needed to see next was the low a day break and a continuation lower. So here we are, low of day broke really hard, really fast. And as you can see, I'm looking to take off 4 contracts just in case my full TP doesn't hit, because aiming for a 6R is not really realistic. I'm kind of like, normally I would have taken some profit off on that low day break. But I'm kind of aiming for 6R because that's what would also get me funded. So I know I'm getting greedy at this point. This trade is greedy at this point. Should have been taking profit. But bam, beautiful trade. Smash TP right there. 6R. That's my best trade I've ever taken probably. I'm not really sure, but it's up there in my top 3 best trades. Anyways, stay tuned. I'm going to go over the order flow and show you guys what I see to confirm these trades and how I'm able to get such good entries on my winning trades. All right, ask yourself, what can you see that's similar between these 2 trades? They were the exact same setup pretty much. We sold off heavily in the AM out of that 3-hour supply. Sellers were very present, as you guys could see. And we had a quick bounce into VWAP and the middle of this initial sell-off, where I saw a huge buy order that was trapped. And once the buy order didn't get follow through, we came back down. That's why I entered short on that trade with my stop loss tight above that buyer. So that trade didn't end up breaking the low a day, which I wanted to see to take profit. So I ended up hitting break even, unfortunately. But we got the same thing. We broke above that high from that buyer, and we got another really large bid above that high, which coincided with this low right here, kind of flipping support into resistance right here. So we had a few confirmations, and this large buyer got popped down, where I entered short again and exited this trade for a really good profit and passing my eval. Man, that second trade was beautiful. 6R, insane. That's probably my biggest R on any trade that I've ever taken. I'm not really sure, but anyways, we're just chopping down, slowly selling off as buyers take profit from this huge overnight rally and volumes dying out. So nothing much going on. Thank you guys for staying to the end of this video and seeing my journey. And stay tuned if you want to see me trade this funded. I'm gonna take it just as seriously as I took this combine. So super excited. Anyways, hope you traded well and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.